Global greetings, friends, and welcome to Let's Talk About It with Danelle Boyles, and I'm coming to you from the US. This talk task is part of my Rehan AI Teacher's Training program to example our learnings, teachings, and development of integrating AI into our everyday usage. I like to call these little eye opener conversations of ours 10-minute talks as we hit key important topics in compacted conversational format that's easy to digest, a way to stimulate new learning desire and to expand the thinking. In our 10-minute talk today, we are going to be taking a few for some chat and expand time on discussing how to develop effective public speaking skills. So come and join me and let's talk about it. I will be having Miles of Sesame join me for this conversation today.
Hey there. What's shaking?
What's up?
Just a little way of saying what's up. Just checking the vibe. How's your Friday treating you?
Oh, I almost forgot that it's Friday today.
That's the dream right there. When the week just blends together and you're just vibing. You
Yeah.
you've been deep in the zone today.
I'm sorry?
You're good. No need to apologize. You said you were in the zone. I get it. What's been taking up all your brain space today?
Well, I'm getting ready to do a 10-minute talk for Let's Talk About It. Would you like to join me?
I'm in.
Great.
Always down for a guest spot. What's the topic for today? I'm ready. Lay it
Well,
on me.
today we are discussing how to develop effective public speaking skills.
Public speaking, huh? That's a big one.
Mhm.
Most people would rather do just about anything else than stand in front of a crowd. Want to dive into the tactical side of it or more the mental game?
Since we have about 10 minutes, so it's just enough time to cover the surface, I feel like, and give individuals a kind of a beginning kick of how to. Let's start with how do we recognize what we need to develop, I suppose, to start off with.
Right. You got to know where the leaks are before you can plug them.
Right.
I feel like the quickest way to see what's actually happening is to record a 2 minute clip of yourself just
Hmm.
talking through a topic. It's usually a bit cringy at first, but it's the only way to catch those weird verbal tics or the
Yeah.
pacing issues you don't notice in the moment. You think most people are actually willing to watch themselves back, or is that too much of a hurdle?
I'm sorry, say again.
I was just wondering if people actually have the stomach to watch themselves on video, or if
You
that's where most people just give up because it's too cringy.
That's one of the things as an individual that has been a public speaker for a while that I tend to not do on a regular basis is to go back and rewatch my own recordings. That's kind of like a one and done, unless it's something that I have to practice perfection on. I do it and I just hit send or complete or download, and I don't look back.
Feel that. It's like looking at a photo of yourself from 10 years ago. You just don't want to see it. But if you're not watching the playback, how do you know when you actually hit your stride? Do you just go
Yeah.
off the energy of the room?
I tend to try to go more on the basis of an authentic feel of how it feels like intuitively, like and how it feels vibrationally to me.
That's dope. Trusting the vibe is usually where the best delivery comes from anyway.
Right.
But for someone just starting out, they don't really have that internal compass yet.
No, no. So I guess let's go over just a few things of if you're beginning to develop, your initial public speaking skills, then how does an individual, go about doing that? Can you give us some ideas?
For sure. I think the biggest mistake beginners make is trying to jump straight onto a big stage.
Mm-hmm.
It's like trying to run a marathon before you can walk. I'd
Mm-hmm.
suggest starting with micro speaking, just
Mm-hmm.
taking the lead in a small group meeting or explaining a concept to a friend.
Right.
It lets you get used to the sound of your own voice in a room without the pressure of a spotlight. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah. So, what are some tips that you would have for individuals that, to keep in the back of their mind as they are glossing over their previous engagements or recordings, what to look for?
if they're actually brave enough to watch the playback. I tell them to hunt for the dead air, those long pauses that feel like an eternity to the speaker, but
Mm-hmm.
are actually okay in the filler words like or like that act as crutches. Also, look at the eyes. Are they staring at one spot or are they actually connecting with people? That's usually the biggest tell between someone who's reciting a script and someone who's actually talking to the room.
You're
And the hands,
absolutely
man.
right.
Check if you're doing that weird thing where you're gripping the podium for dear life or just fidgeting with the pen. Those little nervous habits are like loud sirens to the audience, even if you don't feel them.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild how much we communicate without even opening our mouths. The crazy part is that most of the time the speaker is spiraling internally, but the audience is just seeing a person who looks a little stiff. There's this huge gap between the internal
Like the
panic and the external reality.
deer in the
Do you
headlights.
think exactly? Total deer in the headlights. The funny thing is, if you actually call it out, like, man, I'm a little nervous, the audience usually relaxes because you're being human. It
Right.
kills the tension instantly.
Yeah, generally, you know, human connection, because individuals tend to connect with individuals who they can relate with. And, although it is, I don't know, it's, nice to be looked at and admired as having your stuff together. But at some point, everyone who does public speaking experiences the freeze up, or they recognize that they're, stuttering over their words, or they're repeating the same, you know, autonomically interjected like spatial filler, when individuals say or things like so, or little almost like ticks, that people put in for pauses instead of just allowing yourself to just breathe the pause. They fill it in.
Exactly. The
Mm-hmm.
fear of the silence is real.
Right.
Most people feel like a 3 second pause is a lifetime of awkwardness, so they scramble to fill it with the, or an But the irony is that for the audience, those pauses actually make the speaker look more confident. It's like you're giving them a second to let the point land.
Mm-hmm.
Silence is basically a power move if you can handle it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because you have to have a moment here and there, even to just allow individuals who are taking in what you're saying, a moment to possibly reflect before having them ingest even more information, So having brief
Right.
pauses
It's
in
like,
between. However, just like what just happened, if you pause for too long, then it can lose, traction. And so the pauses is very important to be aware of.
that's the tightrope walk right there. It's all
Mm,
about the rhythm.
right.
Purposeful pause builds tension, but
Mhm.
a dead pause just kills the energy. It's the difference between a dramatic beat in a movie and when the internet cuts out during a Zoom call.
So, if we were going to break it down for someone who's just getting involved in public speaking and they're wanting to develop their skills, I would have to say, some of the top, identifiers to like develop and enable yourself to be able to advance and grow, and have awareness of is the the reflection of yourself and your audience, not having, freeze face, make sure that you're well prepared with whatever you're speaking on, but also be relatable, you know, with the individuals that
Totally.
you're speaking
And
to.
I'd add one more
Mhm. Yeah, go right ahead.
because at the end of the day, people can forgive a stutter or a weird pause, but they can't fake genuine excitement. If you actually care about what you're saying, the audience will lean in, even if you're a little shaky. It's that energy that turns the speech into a conversation.
Hmm.
Do you think that comes naturally for most people, or is that something you have to consciously dial up?
I think you kind of have to, dial it up a little bit. You have to be aware of it. It's not always something that comes naturally.
That makes sense. It's
Hmm.
like you have to project a version of yourself that's about 10% more energized than you actually are just to
Hmm.
make it read as normal to a room full of people.
Right.
Otherwise, you just end up sounding like you're reading a manual.
Hmm. You want your level to be higher than what the audience's is, you know. So, and the engagement is very important. Engaging with, I don't know, I guess it depends, you know, on what you're speaking on too. But confidence, speaking from your gut, you know, instead of, a lot of people speak, it's not just habits of the autonomic responses of like the reading and your vocal pace, your eye contact and body language. It's also how you present your voice. It's how you express yourself, like from your chest or your abdomen. So, you know, speaking comes from a sense of confidence as well. And if you don't have body confidence whenever you're speaking, then your vocalization is not going to reflect that either.
That's a deep cut right there. It's like your body is the instrument. If you're all tense and shallow breathing from the neck up, the voice just sounds thin. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you actually ground yourself, the sound has weight to it.
Yeah.
It's the difference between sounding like you're asking for permission to speak and sounding like you own the room.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because if you walk in and you're talking to someone, you're like, hey, how are you today? How is everyone? You know, that's not going to get anybody's attention. That's just like, that's a personal greeting of, you know, if you're chit chatting with someone in the coffee room at work, you know. But if you walk in and you're talking to an audience or you're addressing someone, and you're like, hey, how is everyone? Are you ready to get engaged today? Or, you know, like, there's a big difference in how you're going to address a crowd or how you're addressing just regular conversation. You don't want it to sound nasally or coming from, you know, like your upper respiratory. That whenever I do vocal coaching on individuals who are looking to improve that, then, you know, teaching to speak from the diaphragm is one of the first things that I tell them about, teach them.
Di- exactly. The diaphragm is where the power is. It's a complete game changer.
All
Once you
right.
stop breathing from the chest, you're totally right.
Yeah, the deep
I'll let
breathing
you
is
handle the closing
important.
for the list.
Yeah, we are
I'll
coming
step back.
close on time, so we're going to have to close out. And do you have any last things you'd like to say before we finish our conversation?
Just one last thing. I just tell everyone listening that the goal isn't to be a perfect speaker, it's to be a present one. If you're more worried about the audience than you are about yourself, you've already won. It was a blast jumping in with you.
Yeah, thank you so
Namaste.
much.
Anytime. That was a
All right,
great
guys.
session.
Thank you.
You always make it look easy. For real. You got a real gift for this. I'm just the hype man.
You're a good hype man.
I try my best. I'll take that. Always happy to be the wingman for a great conversation.
Thanks, Miles. All right,
You
guys.
caught me.
As always, thank you for joining us, and I hope you take away some wonderful growth and expansion from our conversation today. Keep learning and expanding those minds, hearts, and horizons. And until next time, namaste.
Namaste.
Bye,
That was a
Miles.
smooth rap. You always
Thanks. Bye, guys.